3 and 1089 AM.
They're here.
The Tommy Boyds Show.
You say either, and I say either.
There's no escaping here.
The Tommy Boyds.
I mean, just going back to what that lady was saying just before the news, you know, there's no room in this world for hate anymore, I don't think. But I hate wasps. You have to hate wasps. You're a bit mad if you don't hate wasps. And there are people who go, you're in the pub, and you bought a pint and a Ploughman's, and you finish the Ploughman's, and the plate's there, but it's got some scrapings of Branston on it, and you've got about a third of the way through your pint, and there's a wasp. And so you go, poof, get out of it. Like that. And a woman, for it usually is, will go, oh, don't be horrible. You go, I'm not being horrible. And they go, you are. Leave it alone, and it'll go away. But it doesn't. Around your wasp. It wants to die in your beer, so that you will then drink it and die of a swollen esophagus. That's what its idea of leaving you alone is. But you have to leave it alone, and you mustn't annoy it, otherwise it will sting you. And you know that's not true. And you know that's not true from the number of children who come to you with wasp stings. Wasps are horrible things. Wasps are the Satan in a yellow and black jersey. Wasps should be killed. They should be squashed. I'm all for Squash a Wasp Day. We could offer a bounty to all children sometime during the summer holidays, £1 a wasp. Be fantastic. Be fun. It would keep them off the streets, wouldn't it? Keep them out of amusement arcades. They'd be doing something useful and valuable. It would give them an opportunity to let their hunting instincts have flesh, because we're all hunters at heart, aren't we? Human beings. Now, I'm agin wasps. Totally agin wasps and insects in general, actually, if you get us going on the subject. Free call 0500 10 53 89. I mean, can you think of anything to say for the wasp population? Even animal rights campaigners agree. Wasps, and in fact all flying insects, are there to be squashed. They're a nuisance. They are a pain. They carry disease if they don't carry poisons and sharp things on their bottoms designed to actually poke into you and inject you with poison, which will hurt you an awful lot and frighten you a great deal and maybe kill you. But then you do meet some people who say that all God's creatures are precious and we should just be nice to them. Well, free call 0500 10 53 89. I don't agree. It is actually, isn't it, one of the great moral dilemmas of kitchen behaviour, because you get an ant on the draining board, what do? Well, my dad used to just squash them with his finger. And when I was small, I couldn't see anything wrong with that. And when I was going through my pink period and going out with a girl who was a vegetarian, I tried to persuade him to pick them up on the back of a spoon and put them out the kitchen window, which he did, because he couldn't be bothered with the argument. But I can't be bothered any longer with any of that. Wasps, insects in general, aren't human. They're not animals, are they? They're not like us. And they haven't got rights. Free call 0500 10 53 89. I don't hate anything, and on a wonderful Friday like this, with peace and goodwill to all men prevailing, this far ahead of Christmas. Oh, Christmas is coming. Let's talk about that again sometime soon. That's great. I can't wait to see the first Christmas tree with its lights on. But with this great spirit of love prevailing, I still think we should find time in our hearts to hate wasps, and indeed everything with 8 and 6 legs. That's it, isn't it? 2 and 4 legs good, 6 and 8 legs bad. David's on the line from Northampton. You're on Talk Radio. Hello, David.
You don't hate wasps half as much as I do, Tommy.
Why?
When I was 7, I was in my dad's van and a wasp landed on my knee, and I said to him, "There's a wasp on my knee," and he flicked it straight up my short trousers.
Oh, where did it sting you?
About 27 times.
It didn't, did it?
It did. Did it ended up putting me on the counter in Boots Chemist with my trousers around my ankles and a lady dabbing things on me.
There, this is a traumatic business as well as painful.
Very.
You know,
the only good thing is the swelling never went away.
If you're a Buddhist, I'd like to know how you deal with wasps in the bedroom at 11 o'clock at night, because you get one, don't you? Hammering up against the window. Squash them, smear them, swat them, flat. I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talk Radio. There's a good argument for listening.
You know, I don't want to bring this up, but you've been treating a lot of people with a lot of disrespect.
And insects cause asthma, don't they? They've now found out that those insects that live in people's beds are it's more likely that they're responsible for asthma than even car fumes. And what do you do with a spider in the bath? Okay, you run around with a yogurt carton and you get it over the spider, and then you put a piece of card underneath it and you run to the kitchen door with the spider and throw the spider out. But the spider dies because it's a house spider and it can't live in your garden. It is immediately eaten by a blackbird. So why not just run it down the plug hole and have done? Free call 0500 10 53 89. Here's Wayne calling from Mid Glamorgan. Wayne, you're on Talk Radio.
Afternoon, Tommy.
Afternoon, boy.
Killing the wasps has become a summer sport for me, Tom.
Fantastic.
It's not, you can't beat it. You know those drum bats that you play with the kids. You know, it's like a tennis bat. Only when the ball strikes the middle of the racket, it makes a drum noise.
Yes.
They're fantastic for killing wasps, and you actually hear them dying as well. So that's a summer sport.
You can go after them with a squash racket too, can't you?
Yeah, sometimes they go through the hole, and you're not guaranteed to hit them. But with those drum bats, you are.
I think you'll find with a tennis racket they might get through the gap in the gut, but not. I don't think with a squash racket.
No, a lot of the squash rackets these days are a lot bigger, mine, and they got wider gaps in the gut.
You know, one of the great mysteries of life is this: if we humans swallow a wasp, we're done for, aren't we?
Well, yeah.
Well, so you're told. Because if you get stung in the mouth, it swells up, and then
Yeah.
But dogs eat wasps, don't they?
Well, they're pretty stupid animals, aren't they? If they do.
You see them going for wasps. You see them in the house. There's a wasp in the house, and suddenly your dog goes, oh! And you don't know whether the dog's got the wasp or not. But it's still alive, and it still wants its tea an hour later. So.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Yes. So how many wasps do you think you got this summer?
Well, it hasn't been a great wasp summer, Tommy, to be honest with you. They've only been out in fits and starts because the weather's been so changeable. But I got a dozen or so, I would think.
Good for you, man. Yeah. Good for you. Mount them. Mount them.
Yeah, I hate them.
They are terrible. They're terrible things. I think you can generalise, and you can say that there is such a thing as an immoral animal, and it is the wasp. The wasp is to the insect kingdom what the Ku Klux Klan is to humanity, isn't it? Isn't it? It's evil. Ned calls from North London. Ned, whoa.
Hello there, mate. I actually kill wasps for a living.
Are you? Good for you.
Go around there every day. Well, this is a busy summer. Do about 15 nests a day.
Do you get paid per wasp?
No, per wasp nest. You get about 5,000 actually in a wasp nest at one time.
You'd be happy with a pound a wasp if we had a killer wasp day, wouldn't you?
Or be a millionaire.
Now, what's all this about a wasp coming over from Europe that's about the size of your thumb and...
Oh, well, every year the media get hold of these. Was it last year was a French wasp, or it's a German wasp, but we've had countless different wasps. It's just, nonsense, really.
I'll tell you what, the upper classes would probably quite like it if we did get a wasp that size over here, because they could cease shooting grouse, couldn't they, which nobody likes.
Have you seen a hornet the size of an hornet?
Are they getting quite big?
They are about... a hornet's roughly about, say, 4 or 5 inches long.
Really?
Yeah.
You see, if we could get them out on the moors, then old Brigadier Sir Harry Cadogan and his cronies could shoot them for all they're worth, and we'd all go, well done, and everybody would be happy.
Well, we wouldn't like... Well, I mean, I've done hornets before, and I don't like the size of them. I mean, actually, you can hear them. They're like little miniature airplanes flying around when they're coming in, and they've got some wallop on them.
People say, don't they, that if we ever had a nuclear holocaust...
Oh, it's the cockroaches, yeah.
Yes, the cockroaches would survive.
Yeah. Oh, we do lots of them. That's just the winter. It's when all the central heating kicks on.
Yeah.
And everyone gets nice warm places in the blocks of flats and hospitals and...
So how many times have you been stung then, you old pro?
Don't know, countless times.
Really?
Yeah, it's just... it's basically when you're doing so many a day, and you've got all the gear on, and basically when it's so hot, you just either take your gloves off, your gloves are sweating, or you take your veil off. And
have you ever been, like, say you go to a wedding and you're standing around with a bunch of strangers, a glass of warm white wine, and the conversation gets around to who does what. Have you ever been told by somebody, and it would probably have been a woman, that what you do is immoral?
Yeah, I mean, I've been to places where they've had a rat running around the kitchen.
Yeah.
And they've gone to me, and it's in the basement.
Yeah.
And they've asked me to shoot out the door. So I've got 3 flights of stairs and shoot out the door. He says, I don't want you to kill it, and this is about 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, Well, you see, it is a moral dilemma, isn't it, for animal lovers? They use now these humanitarian mouse traps. It's like a plastic tube.
Yes, right.
You put a bit of cheese at one end, the mouse goes in and the flap falls at the back. Then you've got a live mouse. Now, what do you do with it? What do people do with it? Do they drive a mile?
Yeah, I mean, they release them somewhere else.
But that's only going to kill them, isn't it? Because these are mice that won't survive on a lay-by.
Oh, they will do. Yeah, I mean, they'll survive anywhere. Like you get a lay-by, people pull up in a lay-by, they have something to eat. They discard wrappers, chocolate wrappers, and things like that. They throw them out the window or in the rubbish bins. Of course, the mice are living in the hedgerows. They come out, they lick the wrappers, and of course they can feed on that. Of course, there's other things out there actually they do eat. So.
Are you rushing off, or have you got 5 minutes?
I've got about, 5 minutes.
Only people are ringing up because we've got an expert, right?
Oh, no. Yeah, go on.
Go on then. Is that right? So you can be our expert, all right? Marcus is calling from Northants. Marcus, you're through to Mr. Wasp himself.
Hello, Tommy.
Yes.
Yes, urgent report on the Euro Wasp.
Yeah?
Was in my garden a couple of weeks ago. A very large insect on the fence. Ran a newspaper, as you do, to kill it with.
Yeah.
These things are 3 inches long.
You're like a comprehension exercise, Marcus, where you have to fill in the words.
Sorry?
It's your line. It's like you're doing O-level English, you know.
Oh, sorry.
You get a passage, you know.
Yeah, and
you have to
basically...
dot. I think we've got the gist of it, though. Pity about the line. Never mind. Ned, I wouldn't worry about Marcus. I think he thinks there's one wasp over from Europe, and it's in his garden. And he's reporting it. But presumably they do squash these Euro wasps, Ned.
Yeah, sure. No, basically I use chemicals.
Yeah, of course you do.
And
can we get hold of any of them, or do you have to sell them to us?
No,
on the
at
sly?
the moment, it's like from the manufacturers itself, we're only allowed to use these chemicals specified for pest control.
Yeah.
But you actually can buy it on the shelf now.
Right, excellent.
And it's just like, there's one chemical, bendiocarb. They just puff it into the hole.
Yes.
It doesn't irritate the wasp.
Doesn't it? Oh, that's a shame.
No, and they're just business as usual, and it kills them within 24 hours.
Oh, I'd rather they died suffering.
Yeah, well, they actually do die, so
good.
There's a nervous system in.
Well, I believe in justice, don't you?
Yeah, basically when you do the rats, they die of internal bleeding and things like that, so...
Well, I'm not so bothered about rats. I quite like rats, to be honest. I saw a huge rat from a train the other day. And then we were arguing on the train. We were all leaning out the window because the train was stuck. And so I looked out and I saw this thing rustling through the undergrowth, and then it came out into a little clearing. And I said it was a big rat, and this woman said it was a coypew.
Oh yeah, coypews, yeah. They
really?
got Norfolk Broads and all that, like, yeah.
Oh, hell's teeth. And buckets of blood. But there's nothing wrong with a good old rolled-up newspaper, is there?
No, not at all. I've used it many a time. I've been flying around someone's kitchen to clear the wasps out of it.
And you're a pro.
Yes, right.
A bounty hunter. The number's free call 0500 1053 89. Thanks to a sad story, which had a happy ending, that rounded off the wonderful hour. We're down on Brer Wasp in a big way. I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talk Radio. There's a good argument for listening.
For more information, the DHL Global Challenge.
Yeah, look, if you've got a package, free call 0500 1053 89. We're down on wasps. Marianne calls from Northants. You're on Talk Radio. Hello, Marianne.
Hello. Not only wasps have hurt me, they have damaged my reputation.
What?
Well, I took my retriever through the churchyard, which was our normal route to the farmer's field for a walk, and she dug up a wasp's nest. The soldier wasps, I think they're called guardian wasps or something, that guard the nest, came out and stung her 3 times on the muzzle.
Yeah.
She lay down scratching at her face, which alarmed me, and I told her to run, in which time, unbelievably, a wasp must have, I suppose, got up my trouser leg. I can't think it got in the waistband. I'm too plump for that. But it was stinging my backside. I was punching my bottom, trying to stop it hurting me. And the only thing I could do, when we got about 100 yards away, was to take my trousers off. We were only 200 yards from home, so I ripped them off, sprinted home with the dog at my heels, rang the doctor because I thought I might go into that anaphylactic shock. I don't know. I've never been stung by wasps before. And he said, "You need vinegar." Well, I didn't have any vinegar, so I got dressed again, limped down to the local store, which is newsagents and a general shop, and made the mistake of explaining why I wanted vinegar. To my horror, the next day, on the billboard outside where they post the next day's news, was trouserless woman flees Corringham churchyard,
Really?
which is very embarrassing. Had to explain to all my neighbours what it actually meant.
Isn't that great?
But I got my own back. I got the council the next day to get rid of the nests. I hate them.
Yeah, I had to change my trousers on the train the other day, and I was in a compartment by myself.
Why?
Why?
Yes.
Because I'd gone to work in my shorts, and it's tedious if you actually get to talk radio in your shorts because people make remarks.
Right.
They can't help it. Everybody from the managing director up feels as though they have to point out that you're wearing shorts as though you don't know.
How annoying.
So I took my shorts off and I was about to put my jeans on, and all I was bothered about was the corridor of the train, people coming past.
Exactly.
Not realising that we were going quite slowly past a pavement and a road. On the other side. So anybody wanted to, and a few people did, got a glimpse of underpants. There's nothing wrong with that, though, is
There is nothing wrong with it.
They can't touch you for underpants, can they, in public?
No, of course they can't. But it's when it's sort of, if that made the headlines, of course, then of course people put certain interpretations on it.
Well, exactly.
You and I know what happens in the real world.
You're marked out as a perv.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
But what good is a wasp?
No use whatsoever.
They do nothing. They don't pollinate. You can't eat them.
They say they eat some sort of, do they eat green fly? I don't care what they do. I want to get rid of every last man jack
I would
of them.
very much like the wasps to be eradicated.
So would I.
If
I think they're bloody useless,
woke
frankly.
up one morning and found out that there was no more smallpox or wasps, that would be a great day, wouldn't
I mean,
it?
my husband always says, look, don't move and it won't hurt you. And I said, look, I've done a fandango since I was 3 years old on seeing a wasp and hadn't been stung yet. And to me, that works. Flap about.
They're not even wondrous, are they? Because
they're not.
Their movement is so zigzaggy.
And they're so clearly hostile to us.
And that noise, the buzz that a wasp makes, is just at the right frequency to be up unsettling.
And they're sick as well.
Do they vomit?
I hate them.
Yes.
Let's get rid of the whole lot of them. I don't know how we can do it, mind you. What use are they?
No, look, surely we can, we've got genetic engineering.
Yeah.
Can't we get a wasp, something or other, some sort of terrible virus?
Yeah.
That it then passes on to all the rest of the wasps, and they all die.
That would be nice. But you see, what worries me is what this super wasp coming over from Europe, as if we haven't got enough trouble of our own.
Yeah.
Now we've got this large so-and-so.
Listen, I'm grateful for your call. Thank you, Marianne, and I hope your bottom got better quickly. The only other useless animal in the animal kingdom is the zebra, I'm led to understand. It performs no function whatsoever, and were the zebra to disappear, it would be completely unlamented. But at least you can look at a zebra and go, oh, a zebra. But has anybody ever looked at a wasp or got hold of their child by the hand and gone, look, Rebecca, over there, on that fawn, a wasp? No, you don't. You run flying indoors, don't you? And you slam the back door. Why don't we recognise this tyranny for what it is? Bloody wasps. Mick calls from Corby. You're on Talk Radio. Hello, Mick.
It's Nick.
Nick, I beg your pardon.
Kill the wasp, I beg to differ.
Why?
Wasp grub. Excellent bait for fishing.
Oh, well, you can use fly maggots, man.
Oh, well, no. Wasp grub, twice as good. Chub love 'em. Chub love 'em. We got bananas for 'em.
Well, is there not some way we can get a maggot to look as though it's a wasp maggot?
Well, only if you blow it up with air, with a needle and a syringe.
Well, why don't you do that, then?
It's a bit dangerous.
Not dangerous for you. It's dangerous for the maggot, but then the maggot's going to die anyway, one way or another.
Well, no. Wasp grub, you can't beat it. You can't... Even wasp nests, you can mash that up. Chub love it.
Yeah, well, chub love it, but do you eat the chub?
No, oh, good, no, you get lynched. If I ate a fish I caught out of my local river or lake, I'll get lynched.
Right, so let's just get this straight, right? You kill wasps...
Well, no, you get somebody, preferably one of these pest controllers, to hopefully give you a supply of them.
Or somebody else then does?
Yeah, no, right. I wouldn't dare do it. If you don't know what you're doing, it's not worth the hassle.
Yes.
You probably get stung to death.
Okay. All right, well, as long as it all adds up to you, Mick.
Well, it's not so nice if you get stung. Not so nice if you get stung, but...
Yeah.
I suppose everything, like every... insect like a wasp.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think
has some purpose in life.
There's 100 children on their way home from hospital this afternoon been stung by wasps, and they're being comforted by their parents as follows: It's worth it so that Nick can catch Chubb and throw them back. It doesn't add up, does it, pal?
Well,
I'll
give you that.
It doesn't add up, does it?
But
it doesn't add up.
Well, I suppose not. But
no,
everything's got some purpose in life.
No, wasps haven't. Wasps are a gigantic biological error, aren't they? Darwin didn't do a chapter on wasps. He could never have explained the wasp. Even God is noticeably quiet about wasps. For in the beginning he created, and on the third day maketh he the wasp. I didn't get that bit in my children's Bible. There were no wasps in the Middle East, were there? Jesus wasn't bothered by wasps at any time during his 33 years. Which country is responsible for the wasp? Are they British? Or are they strike me somehow as being Syrian. I don't know why. But we've got them over here. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Tony's on the line from Newcastle under Lyme. Tony, welcome to Talk Radio.
Hello, Tommy. Yeah, wasps. I got a wasp's nest in my little workshop, and they were coming in regularly. So what I did, I got, you know the Windoline bottles?
Yes.
Empty one of them.
Yes.
Paraffin. Mm-hmm. You just squirt them from about 3 foot away, and they drop like a doomp. It's brilliant sport.
And you can set a match to them, of course, and they go poof.
No. It's the paraffin on the. You know where people who actually do it for a living, they use petrol if they can. If you've got a wasp's nest, say, in your garden, they'll pour petrol down it, but don't set fire to it.
No.
It's the petrol itself. There's something in the vapour that actually dries the wasps up.
Do you know what petrol is?
Well...
Do you know what it comes from?
No. Well, not really, no.
And oil?
Well, from as far as I know, it comes from the ground and that's it.
Yeah, but do you know what it was before it was petrol and oil?
Coal, tar...
No.
Go on.
No, this is really interesting. This is why I always think I love annoying vegans with this argument. You know, vegans can't use anything that was once an animal.
Yeah.
So they have to have plastic shoes. Yeah?
Yeah.
And they can't even eat live yogurt.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Well, petrol and oil comes from dead animals.
Ah.
Yeah. Squashed animals, which, instead of fossilizing, turn into oil. So you see, vegans shouldn't be allowed to use cars, should they?
Not really, no.
No.
I mean, they're hypocritical, I know.
They're hypocritical.
Just one thing about wasps, though, Tom. They are useful in this early part of the year. They kill a hell of a lot of flies.
No, they don't. That's a myth.
Do.
No, that's a myth. You're not an expert. You're just some bloke.
No, man.
You can't. That's not true.
Well, I've watched them.
You haven't seen a wasp take a fly. How do they do that, then?
I don't know. They do. I've just seen them carrying flies back to the nest.
Ah, but those could have been previously killed.
No, I don't think they take them on the wing. They do eat a lot.
No, they don't. No, because if they did, we'd have definitely had a programme on that, because that would have been worth watching.
I'll tell you what is fascinating. I mean, I've seen some in my workshop here because I've got cobwebs here and there, and to see the spiders attack them is brilliant.
Oh yeah,
it's unbelievable battle.
Yeah, I think that would make a very good Saturday night primetime TV series, wouldn't it? Because we know when we're watching the Gladiators and World Wrestling Federation that it's fixed, don't we?
Yeah.
Not fixed, but theatricalised.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, if it was a real life or death thing, like Spider vs. Wasp, fantastic.
I mean, you wouldn't believe the size of some of the dead small spiders, and they go at a massive queen wasp, and they'll go at it, and you can see them rooting for get round it, you know, so as it doesn't get stung and that. It's brilliant. Because it's 50-50.
You know what I read? I don't know if you're bothered about football.
I'll watch it a bit.
You know England have got this match against Sweden?
Yeah.
Do you know what's most likely to cripple the England attempt at getting a point?
Go on.
Mozzies.
Mosquitoes?
Yes.
Yeah, because it's quite like the tundra. Yeah.
Because this is the height of the mosquito season in Stockholm, okay? And the particular type of mosquito which they have in Stockholm, right, is attracted to anything warm, anything exuding carbon dioxide, and anything yellow, which is the colour of David Seaman's jersey.
Oh, right.
And the worry is that David Seaman is going to be bothered by mosquitoes tomorrow night and will miss the ball.
He'll have to change his shirt.
I've heard of some excuses in my time. You? Hey?
He'll have to change his shirt, that's all there is.
Getting on a bit, isn't he? I mean, they could have come up with a better excuse than that. Free call 0500 10 53 89. No, it was a quiet sports news day yesterday, and I was reading this half-page piece about the England fears for England's goalkeeper from mosquitoes tomorrow night. Live commentary, of course, on Talk Radio, preceded by the Division 1 clash. Trevor Francis's Birmingham against one of the surprise sides of the season, Bury. Before that, at 1 o'clock, the Premiership show, Mosdy and Alan Mullery. And from 11:30 in the morning onwards, the two and only Baker and Kelly. Free call 0500 10 53 89. This is the fax number if you'd like to set DHL a global challenge. 0541 59 69 79. I'll repeat that again in just a second. If you'd like to drop me a line with your challenge, details of who you are and what you've got in mind, setting them, it's P.O. Box 1089, London W1A 1PP. P.O. Box 1089, W1A 1PP, and it's 0541 59 69 79. Andrew's on the line from London. Andrew, you're on Talk Radio. Good afternoon.
Yeah, hi, Tommy.
Yes, sir.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, yeah.
Yeah, you said that you wanted to kill all insects. You don't care about them.
No, I don't really.
No. Well, do you think you're being a sizist, aren't you?
No.
Yep.
No.
Why not?
Because some insects are quite big.
That big.
And some animals I care about are quite small. You know?
Well, you did say that you
should... Not size, it's species.
But you said you compared a cat to a head lice about a week ago or so. And you said you shouldn't be sized against them, so why is this any different now?
Well, I don't remember that argument, and I dare say you heard it wrongly. But the fact of the matter is that bed lice can cause asthma.
Head lice?
Yes. Do you want to come on this programme and defend...
Well, that's weak lungs, though, isn't it?
No! It's bed lice excrement. Do you want to come on this programme and defend animals that crawl around your bed going about their business?
Well, maybe, you know.
Well, go ahead then. I'd like to hear this argument.
I was
Go on,
actually
pal.
interested in, like, sweet little honeybee, which doesn't really sting you much,
No. I've got your head on a pole here. Come on. Go on. What good are bed lice then?
Well, they
we've all got them, you know. You've got them.
They make the beds more comfy, don't they?
Your bed has got hundreds of thousands of these animals living in it. Have you seen pictures of them?
Yeah, they're lovely.
They look like something out of Star Wars.
No, it makes the bed more comfy, doesn't it? More, you know.
You're struggling here, aren't you?
Well, I would rather want to talk about other things.
I know, but I got you onto a good one and you're struggling here.
Yeah.
Come on, where's your argument? Insects are useless. They are a pain in the neck, all of them. They are.
What about all the lovely wildlife programs?
Anything an insect can do, we can do now with genetic engineering.
Well, there's billions of insects.
There's too many of them.
No.
They're the enemy.
Spiders.
Haven't you read Orwell?
Orwell.
You haven't, have you?
No.
You see? You don't know what's in store.
Well, those are books that were made by trees. And those trees were only made by insects, weren't they?
Trees were made by insects.
Yeah, well, pollinated.
I skipped that lesson. Oh, trees get pollinated. Is that how
Oh, yeah.
Trees are pollinated.
Well, indirectly, anyway.
Somehow or another, you were asleep at the back as well, weren't you?
Well, I got an A in science, you know.
Well, prove it.
You can prove it.
Well, because you haven't yet.
Well, I have.
Well, give us some evidence. Give us some quality argument. Come on, son. Come on. I paid for your education.
It's the first time I rang you up, Tommy.
I paid for your education. I would have hoped to have got better value for my money than this.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to become a scientist when I grow up, so I wouldn't worry about it.
No.
Yeah.
Well, go and step on an ant for me.
No, I wouldn't step on an ant.
Well, you might do accidentally.
Well, they come into the kitchen, yeah. They eat a bit of food, but that's about it. You know, they don't do any harm.
But you don't know what diseases they're bringing.
Nothing.
You don't know whether ants in the kitchen are responsible for Alzheimer's. You don't know.
They're not, though.
You don't know.
Well, you might be responsible for Alzheimer's yourself, though.
Quite so.
Yeah.
Radio waves could be. We don't know.
Well, anything could be,
But why take the risk?
I wouldn't mind taking a risk.
Well, step on that ant.
No. There's loads what about, let's see what other insects are there, which are nice. There's too many, I can't think, you know. Hello?
Yes, exactly. Okay, free caller. It was a nice try. Well, it was nice deciding to try. It wasn't even a nice try, really, Andrew, but maybe you'll improve for the run, as we say in racing. Free call 0500 10 53 89. As we move on to transport and ask this question. What's the one thing your car lacks?
Get casting to our largest... Tommy Boyds Street Beat Symphony with DHL Worldwide Express.
Now, you've got a car, or you go in cars, you know about cars. Cars these days have got almost everything, haven't they? Quadraphonic thises and airbags and, ashtrays in the back. They've got everything. All your bodily needs are attended to by what you've got in your car. Wrong, totally wrong. The most important bodily function of all is completely ignored by the car manufacturers. And this is a right pickle for you. I'd say at least once a fortnight if you're on a long journey. And you know what I'm talking about. Would you buy a car with a loo? Of course you would. A toilet? A toilet in your machine? You'd pay extra for it, wouldn't you? I think they should come as standard. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Who hasn't been stuck in a traffic jam on the elevated section of the M4 after a couple of pints of shandy it was, bursting to go, and all there is an old milk carton in the back. So you relieve yourself because you have to. You're not allowed out of the car. You can't do anything else. You would die. Your bladder would explode and you'd get peritonitis. And there next to you in the traffic jam, just as you go about what you have to do, is a coachload of tourists looking down and nudging each other. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. It should be thought about by car manufacturers. Don't you agree? Free call 0500 10 53 89. How can you not? And you're cruising on the motorway and you say to everybody in the car, we're just going to pass a service station in 2 miles. Does anybody need to go? And everybody goes, and then just as you finally can't go down the slip road, somebody says, yes, I would like to go. Oh. And then you go, oh, never mind, there'll be another service station in a minute. And you go for a quarter of an hour before you see the next sign, and whoever it was, especially if it's children, you see, they're going, oh, Dad, I really want to go. And you see the next sign, it says next service station's 52 miles. You know, you should be able to buy a loo as an extra in your car. But, I mean, how would it work? For chaps, not a problem. A tube connected to an aperture in the floor of the car with a little sign above it saying, please do not use if you are stuck in a traffic jam. No problem there. No problem there. It's just for women folk that there would be a challenge, I suspect. But I don't know enough for certain about a woman's needs when the bladder is full and one is in a car, and how those needs could be met by the skill of our motoring designers. Maybe you can help. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Would you buy a car with a loo? Of course you would. I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talk Radio. There's a good argument for listening.
DHL Worldwide Express, delivering across the planet.
Tomorrow afternoon, if you like football, there's only one way to spend the afternoon. It's Glenn Hoddle's first international outing since the World Cup. And he doesn't want this.
It looks like a red card! It's a red card for David Beckham!
He wants this.
He's only got one thought in mind. Owen can score! Owen has scored! The most magnificent goal!
Sweden versus England. 5 p.m. kickoff, 10:53 and 10:89 a.m. Talk Radio with live commentary, the very best analysis and your calls tomorrow afternoon. Sponsored by Vauxhall Vans.
Bigger and better than ever. Talk Radio, commercial radio station of the year.
But still very modest. We call 0500 10 53 89. This is Street Beat Symphony with DHL Worldwide Express. Martin calls. He's on the M6 towards Manchester. You're on Talk Radio. Hello, Martin.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good, you?
Oh, well, yeah, I am now.
What?
Well, I'm stuck on the M6 at the moment. I've just had to hoik my way over the crest barrier and go for the pee. And this is about 5 minutes ago, so I just thought I'd give you a call. And I've got another good story for you, which happened a couple of years ago. Stuck on Bodmin Moor in the snow.
Yeah.
And I had to pee in my cool box. So, yeah, I'd definitely be up for...
It's medieval, isn't it?
It certainly is.
It's absolutely medieval of us to make these machines that some people spend most of their waking lives in, and our body's most crucial requirement is not even given a fleeting consideration.
I'm sure that Dyson chap could come up with something, some sort of tube with a bit of suction on it.
You'd think. Free call 0500 1053 89. Would you buy a car with a loo? Or at least something which enabled you in order, to, if you have to, rather than cross your legs, pee? Found it difficult to say, didn't I, pee? That's what we're talking about. You got to go, and when you got to go, you got to go, but you can't if you're in a car. Julian's on the line. He's in Manchester. Julian, hello.
Hello, Tom. Nice to speak to you.
Welcome to Talk Radio.
Thank you. I have to drive every day on the M56, a little cut-through that goes from one motorway to another, and I see at the side of the motorway, which makes me laugh every day, a bottle, obviously full of wee, Tom.
Yeah.
This guy really needed your idea, didn't he?
Yeah. There's one like that on the sidings just before East Croydon.
And we can always spot it, can't we? I guess it must have been a stag do or something like that, some guys in a minibus. Haven't we all done that?
Yeah. Yeah, because you're actually risking your life, aren't you, if you don't evacuate your bladder when you have to?
Yeah. But don't you go cross-eyed when you really need to go? Wouldn't that be a danger? Wouldn't that be a hazard when you sort of go cross-eyed?
It has led to death. There was a comedian in Hollywood called Fatty Arbuckle.
Yeah.
And he was had up on a murder charge.
That's right.
But it turned out that the woman who died because her full bladder burst.
The burst bladder.
It caused peritonitis. Terrible business.
I can imagine. But I don't know about you, but when I'm sort of stood, like I'd have to be in the car on my own, really, because I sort of sometimes get a bit shy when I'm in the gents and stuff, you know.
Yeah, it's not easy, though, is it, sitting down?
I've never tried.
No.
Even at night, when I get up in the middle of the night, I stand up.
Yes.
I don't know why.
Yes.
Just habit, I suppose, isn't it?
I suppose it is, really.
But let's get a petition up and get something done about it.
Thanks for your call. A while ago, I did see, I think it was a genuine advertisement, in some magazine or another, just a small box ad, didn't cost much, so I can't imagine that the company made a mint and went public, a device which would enable you to pee in your car in an emergency. And that is what you want. Maybe if they're not actually going to fit it as standard as part of the car, there could be something that's in the glove compartment for use in emergencies. Free call 0500 1053 89. It wouldn't be a problem for chaps, but ladies. Blondie calls from Exeter. Blondie, you're on Talk Radio. Good afternoon.
Hello, Tommy. First-time caller. I'm disabled, so it'd be a bit difficult. The only thing I could think of for a lady would be for someone to invent a toilet seat type thing with a funnel connected with tubing, which would go down into a large bottle. But as for the other, well, then I think you'd have to collect it in a bag or something.
Well, I think would you just have to hang on if it's number two?
Well, if you couldn't stop yourself, you couldn't stop it, could you?
That's true enough. That's true enough. Why not though? In the back seat of the car, have a seat in the middle.
That would be a very good idea.
Which is just shaped like a loose.
Or even if there was a pipe connecting out through into the boot.
And let it. Well,
therefore, you wouldn't get the woof of it or anything else, would you?
But you could let it. You could let urine go through onto the motorway, couldn't you?
Oh yes.
Nobody would have a problem with that. That isn't illegal, is it?
Not as far as I know.
It shouldn't be, should it?
I wouldn't have thought so. But the only other thing would be to have a tubing connected out into the boot itself.
Yes, and collected in the boot.
Yeah.
And then do what with it?
Well, like the buses, I presume. I don't know what they do theirs, but I should think there'd be a big unit at the back which would collect it all, and then you'd have to manually take it to a sewer outlet or whatever.
Well, you could sell it to a gardener.
Well, you could. The horses would be very good.
It'd be fantastic, wouldn't it?
They used to be very good, but they'd do the roses well, wouldn't they?
Lonnie, thank you for your call, both practical and commercial. Free call 0500 1053 89. This is Street Beat Symphony with DHL Worldwide Express. Here's Thomas on the A34 towards Newbury. Thomas.
Hello there, Tommy.
Drive safely.
Yeah, we're trying to. We're stuck in a traffic jam at the moment.
What do you think?
Well, the light aircraft industry has actually got something called a Little John and a Little Jane, which are very similar to what you get in a hospital.
Oh, right, yeah.
Specifically designed to relieve yourself when you can't pull into an airfield somewhere.
Can our lady friends use the Little Jane sitting down?
So they tell me. I've never seen one in use, to be truthful, Tommy.
Oh, shame, purely from the point of view of the science of the thing.
Yes, you know, I'm sure it comes complete with full instructions.
Yes. Well,
anyway, I think I'm going to have to stop you. There's a policeman going to ask me to move in a moment.
Oh,
so
blimey, all right, you shove off then. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Paul gets the last word on this important topic this afternoon. Paul in Hereford. You're on Talk Radio. Hello, Paul.
Hello, Tommy. Yeah, earlier on you said something about the fact that, is there something on a car you wish you could have?
Yes.
Well, basically, every car I've ever owned has been a hatchback.
Yeah.
Every single car's had a rear wash wipe.
Yeah.
Now, this year, I've got a brand new car, S-Reg.
Yeah.
Saloon. I thought I'd go for a saloon, nice big boot. And the one thing that is missing at the moment, as it rains in Hereford, is I can see out of my front window and I can see absolutely nothing out of the back.
So you would rather have a rear wash wipe on your saloon than a toilet?
Exactly. And as for Blondie from Exeter,
yes?
if you have the urine or whatever going into the boot, it would splash on the CD changer, wouldn't it? You know.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. There. 340 Free fall? Yes, that's what it felt like. 340 510 53 89. Peter Dealey is next.
DHL Worldwide Express.
Don't forget to subscribe and like. Comment too if you wish. Even slap your legs and make a purchase from Ann Summers. But don't do nothing.